So did y'all hear about the people that are moving to Arkansas? They want to build their own town. Stop it. So, did you know also that now they are begging the government to help them? They want money for housing, they want money for food. I thought you were so above everyone and you can only be white to live here. Really? Use your whiteness and all that money that you claim you have and build your own town the way you said. No one cared. No one cared that you had that land, that you only wanted white people. You had to put in an application and they can deny your application because you weren't white enough and you weren't superior enough. Oh, really? So why do you need that same government to assist you, boo? That doesn't even make good common sense. And then they claim that they're so great at building and architecture and engineering, but they're not even qualified. If you look up the qualifications in their town, they don't match. So the only qualifications it looks like they have, I'm white.
Hello and what's up, good people? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, remember a while ago when we did that video about the white only, the whites only town. It was actually a feature that was initially aired by, I think, Sky News, and then we gave a perspective of the reaction of the black community towards the, self-segregating palm colors. Yeah, so not so soon after the black community reacted and laughed at them and cheered them to go and create their own white-only town in the Ozarks Mountain. The town is failing already, and you think the black people were prophets. Yeah, they knew that this was dead on arrival. Now they're actually begging for assistance. Check this out.
I need y'all to understand that those people do not intend to leave us alone in their little town in Arkansas. It's recently been in the news that some chalk children in America have decided to create their own whites-only town. And when asked by a reporter, they made it seem as though that they intend to just have a town of their own and resources of their own and just live off the land, returning to the land. A land that they stole through crimes against humanity, but who's counting? Many brothers and sisters' take on this is, hey, we don't care if y'all have your own, just leave us alone in the process. I mean, every time we've tried to do that, y'all have burned our towns down. And I'm just here to tell y'all that unfortunately, they do not intend to leave us alone. In the interview with the colonizer that wants to found this whites-only town in Arkansas, they're making it seem as though they just want to live in peace. We must remember that these are people that have never known peace. They didn't know peace when they was by themselves in the ice cold mountains of Europe, and they're not going to know peace in the middle of Arkansas. In the 70s, there was a black scholar that broke down white supremacy into an equation. The same way that E equals MC squared, white supremacy equals white power over non-white powerlessness. And so that means that white supremacy cannot live in an environment where non-white people have any form of power. Because if there's no non-white people around, who are they superior to? Nothing they have achieved has been achieved by leaving people alone. It's like if your son or daughter said they didn't want to live in the house anymore and locked themselves in their room. In order to eat, brush their teeth, or do anything, that child would have to come outside the room. And it's the same thing for them. At some point, they are going to need resources and labor, and that's when they turn to us. And if we have our own power and our own resources, then we have no reason to share with them. And that is when they destroy what we have so that we have to work with them. Don't be fooled. Just like the movie Sinners, it all starts out nice and pleasant, but they have ulterior motives.
Oh, let them build a white-only community in Arkansas. They'll find out. They'll find out how bored they are. I mean, without Mexican, indigenous, black, Asian influences, like, what are they even doing? Like just eating mayonnaise and listening to country music, I guess? Like, I'd be really worried about the kids in that community, though, right? Like, they're going to become the entertainment in an evil sort of way. But other than that, just let them have their experiment.
So whites only towns. There are 3 in the country, one in Idaho, one in Arkansas, and one popping up in Missouri. The one in Arkansas is the one I looked into. It's 186 acres near the Ozarks. It has 40 people living in it. That already tells me that not even the white nationalists want to move with these motherfuckers. Meanwhile, they're saying that they don't accept anybody that doesn't have European religions like Christianity, that is not of European descent, that is of color, that is Jewish, or that is gender or that is non-gender conforming. So very inclusive. How is this legal? It's not. The way they describe it in the interview with Sky News is that they have set it up as a private club, and they think that allows them to do the discrimination. However, private clubs are not allowed to discriminate either. The problem is that nobody has taken them to court yet. Somebody will, and it's going to be interesting to see what this fucking country does with the administration that we have. So I'm going to play a clip for you where one of the guys is being asked if he can say that the Holocaust was a bad thing, and your head's going to hurt. Watch.
Well, that's your opinion. Really. I think the Holodomor was much worse than the Holocaust. That's my opinion. I mean, we're allowed to have opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can say they're both bad. The Holocaust was bad.
But do you know anything about the Holodomor?
Yeah, in Ukraine,
right.
The famine, I know a little bit about it. And I know it was sort of, when we're coming to talking about the Holocaust, it's always about something else. And, you know, I think most people would agree the Holocaust was a bad thing.
Right.
But you're not willing to agree with that.
What, do you want to talk? I don't really see it as concerning when it's acceptable, it's publicly, socially acceptable in the United States for leftists to support Chairman Mao.
Simple fact that this guy cannot even say that it was a bad thing and compares it to another issue that happened in Ukraine due to the Russians. This is the comparison right here. It's not even close. This shows you the level of ignorance and lack of education that these people have. And then he goes on to say that it is weird that the left can worship and follow Mao publicly, but he cannot talk about the mustache man publicly. Who the fuck follows Mao? I've never ever seen somebody in the left say, I follow Mao till the death. Oh, Mao was a controversial figure. Nobody. That tells you how these people live in their own fucking bubble.
Around for a new year to come. And he said he's not going to show up. You have to do the work for that to arrive.
Is a very controversial historical figure. I think the mainstream view is one-sided. It's informed by World War II propaganda. All historical figures are complex, multidimensional.
Controversial figure that needs to be seen from the nuances of history, which is completely stupid. There's nothing controversial about the guy. The guy was pretty blatant. We know what he did. There's nothing controversial. So far what they have is 40 people with an IQ of 80 when you add all of them up at the same time. So nothing to worry about in the meantime. However, their plans are to expand worldwide because they say they're going to bring the new fucking revitalizing of the white culture or some shit like that.
So some of the people in Arkansas are building a whites-only town because when progress comes knocking, these people lock their door and clutch their unflavored casseroles. They say it's about preserving culture, which is bold for a group of people that are allergic to seasoning and fats. But hey, finally a place for people who think Cracker Barrel is ethnic food and diversity means choosing between mayo or ranch. So congratulations, Arkansas. You've done what segregationist, HOA board, and your racist uncle on Facebook has only dreamed of. A town based on nostalgia from a period that was pretty garbage to begin with. But sure, tell me again how we are the one that's dividing the country. And when this fails, because it will fail, don't come back into society. You don't need any of our supplies. You don't need our electricity. You don't need our Wi-Fi. Be in your little cult.
Welcome everybody to the second meeting of our newly established Imbredia, a whites-only town. Today I would like to discuss what laws we would like to see put in place. Do I have any ideas? Yes. No seasoning on chicken, absolutely no seasoning on chicken. I always say when it comes to chicken, the more white, the more right. In fact, if you boil your chicken, you can get it even whiter. So I would strongly recommend that. Do we have any other ideas? Yes. No vaccines. Well, that's a gimme, Bill, you fucking idiot. If it can't be healed with ivermectin, then we will just die. We can make polio great again. Do I have any other ideas? Yes. We need a flag. I couldn't agree more. And in fact, I've been keeping something secret from y'all, something I've been working real hard on. I hope you like it as much as I do. This is my suggestion for the new Imbredia flag. You see, here we have the United States flag. We have a jar of mayo. What could represent us better? That's right, Linda, potato salad with raisins, the only way to eat a potato salad. Thank you all so much. All in favor of making this the new Imbredia flag? Excellent. This shall be our new flag. Thank you all so much. I'm getting tired and I need a smoke, so we're going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Next time, I want you to think about what kind of establishments you would like to see in Imbredia. Thank y'all so much. All right, welcome everyone to another Imbredia, a whites-only town meeting. As promised, today we are going to be discussing some businesses and establishments we would like to see in our great Imbredia. And I have had some submissions from some town folk who would like to open some businesses, so let's take a look at those. First, we have white bread. White bread. Oh, that's so witty. White bread is a deli that only serves cheese and mayo sandwiches on white bread, chicken salad with extra mayo, and potato salad with raisins. I love it. All in favor of a white bread. Excellent. All right, next we have Thoughts and Prayers. Oh, what a sweet name. What is Thoughts and Prayers? Thoughts and Prayers is an automatic rifle shop. Oh, that's fucking genius. You know we love to give them thoughts and prayers when one of those is used in a school. You know, I don't even need a vote on this one. Thoughts and Prayers, approved. All right, and last I have Submit to Thy Husband, School for Girls. Oh, incorrect, sorry. Submit to Thy Husband, Preschool for Girls. That is so smart. We need to teach them girls young that their duty is to serve thy husband. In this preschool, there will be no learning. No, only how to submit to thy husband. All in favor. Absolutely overwhelming response. Thank y'all so much. And Bill, good job not pissing me off today. We all still fucking hate you, but we're going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting before Bill does something fucking stupid.
You're absolutely right. Whites-only towns back in the day were what we called sundown towns. So a sundown town were towns where black people knew not to be caught after dark. Not because we didn't want to be there, but because it wasn't safe. That wasn't a suggestion. That was a survival rule. So now here we are in 2025, and y'all think y'all invented something new with an all-white town in Arkansas? No, baby, this is a remix. And the wild part, honestly, for me, the system is set up to benefit whites in America, yet they still felt like they needed a whites-only town to be able to feel like they're prospering. Think about it. How mediocre do you have to be when the whole deck is stacked in your favor and you still like, nope, we still got to create an environment that we can win? That tells me you know you can't compete in the real world, even when you know the rules are written to help you. And y'all call it a safe space, but let's be honest, a safe space for who? Because black people in America, we never had the luxury of creating a safe space in which we could keep it to ourselves without white America coming in and totally destroying it. Meanwhile, you're out here begging for media coverage to show off your gated bubble. So yeah, sundown towns have always existed, and we know their history. The difference now is we're not scared. We're not running, and we're not going to lose no sleep over it. If that's the space you need to feel relevant, go ahead. Because here's the truth. Black people don't care about being in your little sundown sequel. We care about making sure our communities get what they deserve. And that's something no sundown town can stop.
Racism devastates people from the global majority the most. Obviously, let's be really clear about that. But whiteness carries a cost for white people too. And I wish white people could get that into their heads. It shows up in how isolated we often are. In regions like the Northeast and Wales, over 90% of people are white British, And a third of white Britons say they have no friends from a global majority background. I mean, think about what that means. We are cut off from whole worlds of perspective, from different ways of thinking, problem solving, creativity, ideas, joy, humor, you name it. Instead of gaining resilience through difference, we stay small and we stay shallow and we cling to sameness, and I guess we call that normal. Whiteness looks like power, but it's really a cage. It cuts us off from the richness of life itself. Racism dehumanizes people of color, but it also diminishes white people. And anti-racism isn't charity work, remember. It's how we open the door to fuller humanity, connection, and possibility. I mean, it would be great if we did this out of the goodness of our hearts and for the sake of justice. But if that feels like too much to ask, do it for selfish reasons. Do it because your life will be richer, deeper, funnier, and better if you do.
Now, there obviously are multiple myriad of reasons why this particular kind of town cannot work, will not work, shall not work. And it's good that Black people know this, and they just laughed at them, they made fun of them, and they cheered them all the way and told them to try this. I even remember MAGA some time back before this whining about, of course, in the tail end, this is just part of the segregation rumors that had been there when Grandpa Tariffs took office. And I remember when there was the wave of segregation and it was Black people that were saying, yes, bring it on. And they were happy and they were at all not, surprised, not perturbed, not moved. I mean, it's like they wanted segregation because they simply know that this is practically not possible. Why? Because the so-called white people, white-only towns cannot even work. Why? This so-called modern day America has never worked under the under the industry of white people. It has been powered by the energy, by the zeal, by the of people of color. It has lived through the ages because of the determination of Black people and other peoples, not the slave owners, not the lazy palm coloreds who were only sitting down and forcing people to work. The only thing they have excelled in is by using crude means to acquire power, then through which they use the systems they form themselves to control. Now, I want to share with you reasons to why I personally did a research and personally believe this cannot work. And the first one, maybe the obvious one, are the legal challenges, and people had started speaking about challenging this in the courts. Now, racially exclusive towns often will face legal scrutiny and lawsuits because segregation based on race, like these people are clearly doing, and we know why they're doing it exactly at this time in history. So this violates civil rights, including the Fair Housing Act, and these laws make it difficult for a town to maintain such, it's just legally impossible to do this. But now they have a conducive environment because of who is in the White House. Now, however, that is not the only challenge. We even have the economic challenge or an economic isolation. And this is what these people don't even think about before doing these things they do out of hate. So when we talk about economic isolation and economic challenges, so limiting residents to one race can reduce the talent pool, very important, and consumer base and workforce diversity, which are crucial for any economic growth. Basically, if you limit people from the people that know the work, the people that know how things are done, then how are you going to do them? So businesses may avoid investing in these places. Black people came out to say, please just put out huge fat signboards saying these are white only, and you won't see us there. You won't see a single coin from our hard-earned money in there. So businesses and other people of different races will avoid investing or serving a town with a discriminatory reputation, and that will definitely hurt an economy, if at all that town would even exist in the first place. Let's talk about the social backlash, like now what it has faced since they came out to announce. So the broader society often condemns these explicitly exclusionary communities. This can lead to strong negative media attention, loss of tourism, and strained relationship with the neighboring towns or the neighboring regions, which this just pushes them to further isolation. Nobody really can live on their own like an island. Nobody does. Now, and then there is also population sustainability. And when we talk about inclusivity, limits population growth. Exclusivity will limit population growth. Imagine the number of people that are moving in there. How are they really going to grow in terms of population? And of course, it also limits diversity, which diversity, we don't need to talk about that. It's very important. America knows the importance of diversity than any other nation in the world. So over time, if younger generations seek more inclusive and diverse environments, the town could, struggle to attract and retain its own residents, because the thing about lies is at some point it will hit the dead end, and a certain generation of people just come out and challenge the norm. That's what we've seen many white people doing today. They are denouncing white supremacy. They're fighting MAGA. They're coming out clearly to denounce systems that white people have historically in America benefited from. But now they're saying enough is enough because they have seen the end to white supremacy, the lies that sustain white supremacy. And then there is the moral and ethical shift. So social attitudes have evolved considerably in places like America, where everybody can now speak. It's not only whites that can speak, and most people and institutions oppose segregation and racial exclusion totally, making it hard for such towns to gain acceptance socially or even to thrive in the very first beginning. But you wonder, why is this happening? It's because of the kind of administration that is there in the United States of America today, and the kind of leadership and the person they believe has their back right there. Little do they know that one thing with politics is that politicians will always leave the kind of legacies, and they will disappear. They will vanish from the surface of the earth. And the consequences of such moves that you did when a certain guy was in office will remain to haunt you long after the guy disappeared from office and went underground. So you might be thinking you're doing this because Donald Trump is in office. But for how long shall he be there? And for how long shall you be able to sustain the kind of behavior that you are taking part in? And again, from my own perspective, is this community is actually exemplifying who white supremacists are, and these far right extremists, including the president Donald Trump, and they have a mini president in their community, apparently a mini Trump. Trump is technically doing the same thing on a larger scale. Now, as these people go to isolate themselves up in the Ozarks, see, what Trump is trying to do reflects who these people are, because see, Trump is also trying to isolate America in a certain way from the rest of the world. He is imposing, policies, implementing policies that actually push all the people, even the nearest neighbors, Canada and Mexico, and all the trade partners by these tariffs and trade wars. The only thing he's doing, he's trying to isolate America from the rest of the world, which is a very dangerous move, because these policies, as I have said, will always outlive the the eras of these politicians. So he will be out of office, but the strains he created with the neighbor to the north, the neighbor to the south, and the rest of the world will be there. And it's left the consequences of all this would be left to be would be felt long after he's gone. He's disappeared. He's gone to hiding, and America will suffer the consequences of such, sadly. So this is practically not possible. Isolating yourself in a very interconnected world like it is today cannot even work on this small scale, like in the Ozarks, or in a larger scale, like isolating America. Isolationism can't work. Diversity will do work, but out of hate, out of fear of this white supremacist, this is what we have. They hate other people, and they try to exclude themselves in these cocoons of hate to try and see if they can survive on their own. But they don't even have enough survival skills to do it without other people. And out of fear, until they finally came to realize that their so-called superiority is actually an inferiority complex, and now they are running to hide because they can't accept the truth that we are not who we have been telling ourselves we are. We are not any superior. We are actually inferior in all senses of that word. Yeah. So we wait to see what they're going to do next, if they're going to dismantle and dismiss their so-called white only, or they continue to beg for help, and hopefully their godfather in the White House might help them for as long as he might be able to, but which I personally believe he won't do it, because he never does such things. He doesn't care about such kind of people. He just uses them as pawns in his political games. We have seen what he has done to the so-called white Afrikaner refugees. He left them alone and they got stranded. And so they will also end up being stranded because they might have thought he was going to, help them. Yeah. So that is it for this video. I don't know what you think about the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it. And if you have something to say, you can leave me a comment. And if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't yet subscribed, then please go ahead and hit the subscribe button to be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.